Okay, it's 2018. We are just a couple of weeks from the 1 year anniversary of Donald Trump being president of the United States. That's a quarter of his term almost. And now he's been in office long enough that we can start making some broader assessments of what's happened so far. And I feel so conflicted about the 1 year mark. Because on the one hand, I can't believe it's been a year, right? It's flown by. It feels like we just had the election, right? But on the other hand, I'm so fatigued by the constant scandals and embarrassments that it kind of feels like it's been 8 years.
I feel like so much has happened, though. I
Exactly.
feel like
Yeah.
it's been a lot longer.
So, three areas that I want to talk about: bills passed. How much legislation has Donald Trump accomplished? His approval rating. How is he doing in the opinion of the public? And golf trips. Not because golfing is important, but because during the presidency of Barack Obama, Donald Trump was very focused on how much President Obama was golfing and how much he would not be golfing if he were ever president of the United States. So let's talk first about legislation. Donald Trump says, he claims, he asserts that he has signed more legislation into law than any other president during their first year. The truth happens to be the exact opposite of that. The nonpartisan govtrack.us website says that Donald Trump has signed the fewest bills into law of any recent president, dating all the way back to Eisenhower. Okay. Numerous media outlets tried to get clarification from the White House. Trump says he has the most bills. Evidence and records say the fewest bills. How do you explain that? No answer from the White House so far. That's legislation. How about approval rating? At the end of his first year, Donald Trump's approval rating is the lowest of any president during the modern polling era. And we actually have a list here, and you'll see that George W. Bush at the end of his first year was polling 86%, JFK 77%, Bush 1 71%, Eisenhower 69, Nixon 59, Carter 57, Obama 54, Clinton 54, Reagan 49, and Donald Trump most recently, according to a CNN poll, the same CNN poll, 35%. Not too good. But hey, the polls are all fake news, so it's not real, right? And lastly, golfing. During Obama's presidency, Donald Trump slammed President Obama for golfing too much. During his campaign, Donald Trump said he wouldn't have any time for golfing. He wouldn't be leaving the White House very much. And yet, Donald Trump has golfed 88 times so far at a taxpayer cost of more than $42 million. And compared to other presidents, Trump has golfed more than any modern president. As far as the golf itself goes, yeah, it's a huge disrespect to the taxpayer, since this is all happening with taxpayer money at Trump's own golf courses, funneling millions of dollars into his own family's businesses. But in a sense, Trump golfing means he's not legislating, which is arguably a good thing. But still, the taxpayer money going directly into Trump's family businesses, it's unacceptable. There will probably never be consequences for Trump for funneling these millions of dollars into his businesses through golfing. I'm just being realistic, but it's an absolute and total disrespect to the taxpayer. The really funny or sad thing, and in this presidency, the line between funny and sad has become pretty blurred in ways I never before thought possible. The funny or sad thing is that Trump thinks he's working hard, right? And his core base actually believes it. Over the vacation, I watched very little news and paid attention to very few things. But when I was on vacation, I saw these interviews. I think it was CNN did it with in deep Trump territory. And it also happened to be a pretty poor part of the country. I don't know if it was rural Florida or Mississippi or something. It was just total cognitive dissonance, right? People were asked, how do you think Trump's doing? Oh, he's just working so hard for us. Really, for you? Are you happy with the tax plan? Some of these voters were asked, and they said, yeah, we really are. And then they were asked, well, hold on, isn't Trump's tax plan mostly for the rich? And the respondents actually said, completely unsarcastically, with absolutely no hint of satire or understanding of the reality, the tax breaks for the rich make sense because poor people don't create jobs. Rich people create jobs. So it's good that the rich are getting the tax cuts. They're going to create jobs for people like us. Total cognitive dissonance.
I mean, they can explain away anything. I mean, they'd actually probably be happy with him signing fewer bills than any modern president.
Right.
Because they think that the government that governs least is the government that governs best, right?
Well, that's why either way they're going to support what he does, right? If Trump says executive orders and tons of legislative accomplishments, they support the president enacting his agenda. If he does nothing, they support a president who adheres to small government principles of not doing too much.
Yeah, but the approval ratings and the golfing are a lot harder for them to respond to. I
True.
mean, maybe they can point to a Rasmussen poll that has them at 47%.
Yeah.
But the golf hypocrisy, there's just no comeback to that.
We cannot reach these folks, is the conclusion I've come to. Everything we know about cognitive psychology and behavioral economics about cognitive dissonance tells us that these are people that we are not going to reach effectively in a way that might actually swing an election, which gets me back to something I've been saying for a year at this point, and I even said in the first story on today's program, the first show back in 2018, in the context of the midterms. We need to focus on getting out the vote because voter turnout is so low. You're not going to convince these folks. And by voter turnout alone, we can actually win in 2018 if we're willing to do the work. Send me your thoughts. I'm on Twitter at @dpakman. The show is on Twitter at David Pakman Show. We are back. Yes, it is a new show. No more vacation shows. No more repeats. We've dragged back Pat back into the studio. And we are doing a show. We'll take a break and be back after this. I'm pleased to tell you that support for today's program comes in part from Health IQ. Health IQ believes that the best way to improve the health of the entire world is to celebrate the health conscious through social and financial rewards. And what Health IQ does, you know how if you have, well, with some car insurance companies, if you're a good driver, you get a discount off of car insurance. It's the same idea with Health IQ and life insurance. More than half of Health IQ customers save between 4 and 33% on their life insurance because of the healthy lifestyles that they live. And the reason that they're able to do this is that physically active people have a 34% lower risk of all-cause mortality and a 56% lower risk of heart disease. To see if you qualify, get a free quote at healthiq.com/Pakman. You can also mention the promo code Pakman if you decide to call in and speak to a Health IQ agent. Check it out. That is healthiq.com/PAKMAN to get your free quote.